Oops.
The details of life. Dude, I'm getting more texts from mutual acquaintances of ours asking me what the fuck has happened to Giulio. Now that more and more people are catching on that you're doing this tour of the United States, where are you now? What's the latest? Give us the Giulio update.
I'm in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Wow.
Dude, I've been blasting through the country. I don't know if I've driven like 2,500 miles in probably 4 or 5 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's too much, man. Like yesterday, but this is the thing. I was in this like weird in-between period where I wanted to see this cool shit in Nebraska. These like stone things that are so fucking cool. This thing called Scotts Bluff and another thing called, I think it's the agate fossil beds.
Oh, yeah.
My instinct is to call it agate, but there's no like accent.
Like agave. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So there was nowhere between Oklahoma City and there for me to stop. So I had to stop in some like weird ass place for the night. And then I wanted to get straight to South Dakota because I didn't want to stay in some like random city or some random shitty hotel again. So I got all the way up here. So I drove from Oklahoma City to this like random town in Kansas. And dude, the hotel I stayed at in this town in Kansas was scary, man. It was like,
Saw a picture. Yeah.
it was an Econo Lodge. And the saving grace was that the guy who owned it was this really nice Indian guy, and his wife was presumably the one cleaning the rooms. And they were so nice and warm that it made me feel better about the situation because the room was really scary.
Why was it scary?
It was like ground floor. The lighting was shitty. The room was just like not that nice. You know what I mean? The room was $45.
Yeah, I saw the picture of it, and it just made me think, we really need to get this podcast going so that we can help you.
Dude, there were no options. I've been staying in nice hotels, like relatively nice hotels for the most part. This was the best option in the area. Plus, they had laundry machines, and I needed to do laundry.
You are doing laundry from hotel to hotel. This is
one time. I needed to reboot, dude. But this is the thing. It was really creepy, man. Like I was walking around because you have to walk outside to get to the laundry room, and some kid appeared out of nowhere and he goes, "Hey man, are you looking for a cat?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "Oh, all right. Well, if you were, I just saw it." And I was like, "Have a good night, man." Like, geez, I need to get the fuck out of here. So, dude, I slept with the team. So as I was falling asleep, a beetle flew into my hair, which is not ideal.
God.
It wasn't a scary beetle. It was like a nice beetle. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully our listeners know what I'm talking about when I say that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was obviously not ideal. I'm like, what other kind of fucking critters are in here? So, I went, and then there was a gigantic lightning and thunderstorm, which is fine. But like Kansas is like a little dodgy with like tornadoes and shit. I know it's not
Hurricane Alley or Tornado Alley. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, I wake up at like 5 a.m. I just get the fuck out of there. And then I drove straight here, which was like 600 something miles. So I'm not doing anything like that again, as far as the distance. Cause when you're in the car that long, I start thinking all sorts of crazy shit. Like thinking that I have health problems that I don't have. Just like the hypochondria when you're isolated is like really a thing.
What are you doing to combat those thoughts when you're in the car?
So dude, I'm making a shit ton of phone calls. I'm just like calling my parents, calling girlfriend, calling people, catching up with people, whatever. And by the end of the day, my voice is so hoarse that I'm then again afraid that I have COVID.
Oh my God, dude. All right. How many more days do you have of this?
A few more. I'm going to try to be in Chicago for the 4th of July so that I can be with the lady, have some fun, whatever, and be around people.
I think that's a good idea. And then are you going to drive home from Chicago?
I don't know. I'm going to figure that out. But dude, a couple things. One, well, first of all, I've been impressed with how every single place I've gone, particularly in the South, that's getting creamed in the media, a shit ton of people have been wearing masks. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. I think there are still a ton of people who are afraid regardless of however this becomes politicized. Even if I know that if I lived in a state where the mayor or the governor were saying like, it's up to you, I would probably still be wearing a mask. I say that I'm in New York, it's so much more relaxed here now, dude. The whole country flip-flopped. Like
crazy.
New York City, but I say the relaxation in New York, it's people are still abiding by what happened. You know what I mean? I think it was as if there was enough of a shell shock for people, for that fear to stick with people. And I haven't seen too many people congregating in big groups or whatever.
Yeah.
But the outdoor seating, the restaurants, it's nice. It's nice. It's almost a Parisian atmosphere, you know?
Lovely.
Yeah. Wicker chairs set out in the sidewalk. The one thing that's weird is that a lot of these restaurants have extended their outdoor seating into the street and into the avenue.
Oh, wow.
And so they're almost kind of in, like, if you have a 4-lane avenue, we were at a restaurant near 9th Avenue yesterday. Or maybe it was 10th Avenue. And the whole side, the lane where you would be taking a right nearest to the restaurant had turned into their seating. And you just got to hope that there isn't like some UPS truck that, forgets or doesn't see
just fucking boom.
12 people eating, frittatas and just mow them down. My God, it'd be a little freaky.
That's hilarious. A human frittata on the sidewalk, dude.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Dude, so this is funny. One of my friends, his name's RJ. I was in Natchez, Mississippi, I believe, when we were podcasting, and like I said, there's a novel that takes place there. He loves that novel. He was like, "It's so crazy you're there," and from there, he just started like telling me to be careful of things. He kind of like gave me these omens that all ended up happening. He's become like the witch doctor of my trip.
No.
He's like, so where are you stopping next? And I was like, oh, I'm stopping in Beaumont, Texas. He goes, oh man. He goes, Beaumont makes Biloxi look like Monaco. And I was like, haha, like whatever that means. And then he goes, make sure you're careful when you're driving through these little towns. He goes, that's how they make their money, is by like speed traps and pulling people over. And I was like, okay. So first of all, I'm driving through a small town in Texas. I get pulled over and I get a $400 ticket.
What?
In a complete speed trap. And it was called Mart, Texas, on the main street. If you're driving through there, be careful.
How fast were you going?
So, dude, it's this little town. It's like a little strip. And the town is like, it looks like it needs some renovations. Let's
facelift. Yeah.
It's a small town. And so and when you begin the town, there's a cop. And then like 2 blocks down, there's another cop. So that first cop gets your radar. The second cop pulls you over. It's like a whole system.
Wow.
The police officer was very, very nice, very respectful. And just like a good dude. Like, I don't know. So I wasn't that upset about it. And I was speeding, but it was like set up to catch people speeding. So anyway, he gives me a ticket, and then I'm like, fuck, like this is what happens. And shout out actually to Adam Aarons, one of our listeners, who Venmo'd me to what he called the Giulio ticket fund. Sent me a nice little Venmo. I appreciate that.
Wait, how far over the speed limit were you going?
So the speed limit drops from like 60 to 30 immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going 52.
Okay. So you just hadn't quite caught on to the town vibe yet.
Right. I was going way over. So,
yeah.
But it's one of those situations where it's easy to go way over. And quite frankly, man, this town looks like it needs the money. The idea of fully paying the ticket doesn't upset me. My dad kind of got me riled up. He goes, that doesn't mean they can fucking rob people, Giulio. I was like, okay, you're right. So I might get a lawyer and try to fight it, but I might not, whatever.
Wow.
And so that happens, right?
Uh-huh.
Then I make it to Beaumont, Texas, and I get in my hotel room, and I'm sitting and I'm typing on the computer, and I see a cockroach crawling right near my feet. And bro, this is at the Marriott.
Oh, the height of luxury.
I mean, listen, that fuck you, first of all. That's hilarious. But dude, the Marriott is supposed to be a non-cockroach hotel. I'm sorry. Like, it's not,
right.
I shouldn't be finding cockroaches in my hotel. So dude, I call the front desk. I'm like, I found a fucking cockroach in my room. And the lady goes, oh, was it big? I'm like, what are you, my daughter? I'm like, what kind of fucking question is that? Was it big? Like, what? And I was like, yes, it was fucking huge. And then they gave me a bunch of points, which I appreciated. I don't know if it made up for the cockroach. And then I found a huge spider in the shower too. But spiders, I feel like you can't complain about.
I don't mind spiders at all. I
Really?
like spiders. In fact, if my girlfriend sees a spider somewhere we are and she tasks me with removing it, I cup it and let it outside with a prayer.
That's very
I
nice.
do not kill it. I don't smush it in a washcloth. I send it on its way with a sandwich. Spiders are our friends. I just don't think that they do so much good for the world. Now, having said that, I've never really run into a black widow
Right.
or a tarantula. I haven't seen too many spiders that can kill you, but everyone's afraid of them.